gagal itu keharusan yang justru perlu dilalui loh. Kalau nggak pernah gagal gimana mau sukses? Mumpung masih muda, habisin kuota gagalnya sekarang. Jadi nanti udah tinggal sisa kuota suksesnya. Jadi coba banyak hal, selalu bilang iya pada setiap kesempatan.
Which one is greater? My desire to succeed or my fear to fail? John Wooden's perhaps the greatest college basketball coach in the history of the world. He has won 12 championships, 11 of which were consecutive titles. The true personification of success, both on and off the court. But most people don't spend any time trying to understand what happened to John Wooden in his career before all that success. He went 16 years without winning anything. Now think about that. 16 years and no titles, then 12 years and 11 titles. Many people would call phase one of his career a failure, but he called it preparation. A common excuse that I think all of you will be able to relate to, that we often use is when something goes wrong is, well, it didn't work out, thus it's just not meant to be, right? And we usually stop right there. But that's not how life works most of the time. I remember learning a lesson from a professor in California. He said, get in line and stay in line. Don't quit too early. Sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. And we usually, when we win, we tend to party, right? But when we lose, we tend to ponder. I have a professor at BYU who has taught me a principle that at first sounded very uncomfortable. He said, and I hope my boss is not here to hear this. He said, Eduardo, go out there, get a job, get paid to make mistakes, then go do your own thing. Right? So in his perspective, failure is a vehicle, a friend, not an enemy. It's a connecting point leading us to success. In other words, the faster I fail, the faster I learn. The faster I learn, the faster I succeed. I had 16 interviews locked in. I was sure I was going to get an offer. But after all those 16 interviews, I got no offers. I was frustrated and super discouraged. But then my father, who is in the audience today, was wise enough to come up to me and lift my vision, said, son, you've lost a few battles, but the war is still on. This is part of the process. All the 16 interviews are going to help you find what's best for you. Just keep giving your best effort. 2 days later, I had my 17th interview and got the offer. There's no such thing as failure. The past does not equal the future. Tony Robbins, one of the greatest teachers that I know, has taught this principle in a marvelous way. He said, and if you're going to take anything home from my talk, take this principle. The only thing that keeps us from getting what we want is the story we keep telling ourselves about why we can't have it. The only thing that keeps us from getting what we want is the story we keep telling ourselves about why we can't have it. Reality is, now is our reality. We can create our own story. We're all great storytellers. We have a blank page in front of us every day to create a story based on our now truth, not on our past truth. Don't quit too early. There's no such thing as failure. The past does not equal the future. Next time when you're facing challenges, all of us, which will surely come to test our character, maybe remember the words of Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all history. I failed over and over and over in my life. That's why I succeed.
Other than death, all failure is psychological. Other than death, all failure is psychological. Think about that. Just think about that. This failure, this upset, this catastrophe. If you aren't dead, then it's just psychological in your head. Now, this does not mean that you won't lose some battles, because you will. We all will. But it does mean that as long as you don't surrender, as long as you don't give up, as long as you don't quit, then you haven't failed. It just means you've made a temporary tactical retreat. It means you've made a brief withdrawal. so that you can regroup and reattack. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you get beat, unless you're dead, you are not defeated. And you have not failed. What you've done is you've learned. You've gained experience. And you're still alive. And you have memories to make. So get up and go get after it.